Kindness Beats Riches. Chapter 1. Mud on Market Street. "Move, old man!" The scream tore through the humid Dallas air a split second before the splash. A black Escalade ripped down Market Street, its custom rims spinning dirty water like helicopter blades. The puddle detonated across the sidewalk, drenching Elijah Brooks from crown to sneakers. His cheap poncho fluttered, useless plastic against a tidal wave of brown grime. Elijah blinked hard, muddy rivulets crawling past his lashes. The laundromat behind him hummed with dryers, soap-sweet steam rolled out each time the door swung. Now the warm scent mixed with street gutter funk. He didn't curse. He didn't even flinch. He just inhaled slow, the way church deacons do right before they pass the collection plate, and whispered, "Lord, keep my peace." Inside the Escalade, Sierra Banks slammed her brake, more annoyed than guilty. Rain hammered her windshield, red traffic light bleeding streaks across the glass. She pulled down her mirror, checked her lashes, perfect as always, and smirked. "Stay winning," she mumbled, snapping a quick selfie. Wet street, glossy lips, diamond grill flashing. One tap sent it to her 200,000 followers. Outside, chatter flared. "Yo, sis just baptized that man in street soup," a teenager hollered, half laughing, half shocked. "She ain't even looked back," another said, phone already filming. "Somebody call her out," an auntie barked, fists on hips, umbrella forgotten. Elijah's heart thudded, not from anger but embarrassment. His thin gray t-shirt clung to his ribs, the fabric smelled like moldy cardboard now. He wiped his forehead with a handkerchief worn soft as tissue. Water dripped from his chin, each drop a tiny insult. The Escalade inched forward to the line, stopped again. The passenger window coasted down. Sierra leaned an elbow out, manicured nails catching the neon glow from Leroy's Chicken Shack sign. "You good, Grandpa?" she called, voice syrupy with mock concern. "Maybe sit farther from the curb next time. City streets ain't your porch." Then the light flipped green. She rolled up the glass, bass thumping, and vanished in the spray. A tense hush settled. Cars crawled past like they didn't want any trouble. Elijah felt a burn rise behind his ribs, a mix of shame and something sharper, but he swallowed it. He stood, shaky but proud, folding his chair with a metallic click. Across the street, a city bus hissed to a stop. Behind its fogged windows, Lana Carter pressed her palm against the pane. She had been watching since the splash, heart racing in disbelief. The sight of that soaking old man stirred a fierce ache she couldn't name. Farm girl instincts, maybe. Protect the vulnerable, sow respect where the ground looks barren. The bus doors whooshed open. Lana hesitated, then stayed seated, eyes locked on Elijah as the bus pulled away. She told herself she'd see him again. Dallas wasn't that big. Elijah shuffled toward the laundromat entrance, each step squished. Washer drums clanged a lazy rhythm, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. A teenager loading socks stopped, jaw hanging. "Mister, you okay?" Elijah forced a warm smile. "Just need the Lord to spin me dry, son." The teen laughed, tension breaking like dawn, and handed over a stack of paper towels. While Elijah dabbed mud off his arms, thunder rolled outside, low and hungry. Sierra's Escalade was long gone, but her echo lingered. Tires slicing water, pride slicing dignity. Elijah closed his eyes. Waves of memory crashed. Years of sweeping church steps at sunrise, nights praying over his late wife's empty pillow. Mornings reminding his grown son that money couldn't polish a rusty soul. A dryer dinged. Elijah blinked back. He glanced around the laundromat. Parents coaxing quarters into machines, kids chasing bubbles across linoleum, a couple in the corner whispering secrets over shared headphones. Life kept spinning, same as those drums. He straightened, rolled his shoulders, and walked out into the drizzle. Streetlights flickered awake, painting the wet asphalt gold. His reflection followed, blurred but upright. At the curb he paused, staring at the rippling puddle that had shamed him minutes earlier. Lightning flashed, and for one breath the water looked like glass, showing him a man older, battered but unbroken. He tapped the cane folded under his arm, not for support but resolve, and whispered, "Ain't no mud deep enough to drown purpose." Farther down Market Street, neon signs blinked, cars honked, life hustled on. Elijah set his chair against the laundromat wall, ready to finish his shift mopping floors. Yet a new seed had rooted in his chest, an urge to find the woman who'd driven that Escalade, not for revenge, but for revelation. Because sometimes the hardest hearts grew closest to the rain, and he felt a storm of change coming. Chapter 2, Talk Inside the Brownstone. Elijah's key scraped the lock, and the heavy oak door swung into a hush broken only by a distant grandfather clock. The Brooks brownstone sat on Pleasant Grove's richest block, 3 stories of red brick and wide windows that watched over pecan trees like quiet elders. Yet inside, warmth felt rented, not owned. Soft jazz trickled from hidden speakers, trying too hard to sound like home. Malcolm Brooks looked up from his tablet when the door clicked. His tailored hoodie matched his charcoal joggers, the casual armor of a man who signed million-dollar deals in slippers. He froze at the sight of his father's soaked clothes. Mud streaks crawled down Elijah's pant legs and dripped onto the marble tile like melting chocolate. "Daddy, what in the world happened?" Malcolm's voice shot across the foyer before his feet moved. He crossed the room, iPad forgotten on the sofa, and reached for the sleeve of Elijah's poncho. The fabric squished. "You okay? You need a doctor?" Elijah waved him off, half smile, half sigh. "Mud only sticks where the soul lets it, son. I'm clean on the inside." Malcolm's jaw tightened. He glanced at the spotless staircase, white banister, golden light, and felt grime sneak up the walls. "This ain't funny. You got money, you got a driver. Why you still out sweeping these streets like you broke?" "Because streets teach what leather chairs forget." Elijah eased out of his shoes, water pooling beneath them. "Lord made dirt. Dirt can't hurt." Malcolm swallowed a groan. "That line might work at church, but Instagram ain't so forgiving. Folks record everything." Elijah's eyes glimmered, catching hallway chandelier light. "Some eyes record, few hearts remember." Malcolm exhaled and rubbed his temples. He wanted to press, but heard a familiar ding, Sierra's custom ringtone, a snippet of trap drums and glass chimes. His phone buzzed on the coffee table, lighting up with her name and a heart emoji. He silenced it, pulse quickening. Elijah raised a brow. "You ignoring blessings or bullets?" "Both come dressed the same these days," Malcolm muttered, sinking onto the couch. "It's Sierra." Elijah nodded as if the name tasted bitter. He headed toward the kitchen, leaving muddy footprints. Malcolm followed, arguments stacking up like poker chips. In the kitchen, pendant lights threw a soft glow over quartz counters. Elijah grabbed the tea kettle, his hands shaking slightly, age, not anger. Water hissed and steam rose like a ghost between them. Malcolm braced his palms on the island. "Look, I know you think Sierra's extra, but she's not all bad. Son, snakes shimmer prettiest right before they strike." Malcolm rolled his eyes. She's driven, confident. Yes, she spends money, but so do I. We came from nothing. Why not enjoy it? Elijah measured tea leaves as though they were sacred. Each spoonful clicked porcelain. Enjoyment without gratitude turned sweet fruit sour. Malcolm's phone buzzed again, then again. He flipped it face down. Images flashed in his mind. Sierra in designer heels, Sierra popping champagne on rooftops, Sierra smiling at him the way sun hits water. Yet that same smile just drenched his father in gutter sludge. Confusion twisted his gut. You didn't answer my question, Elijah said softly. Why ignore her call? Malcolm stared at the dark screen. Because I don't know what to say. She makes me feel alive 1 minute, then hollow the next. Elijah poured steaming water over the tea, fragrant chamomile swirling. Life ain't a nightclub, Malcolm. Feeling alive don't mean you living right. He slid a mug across. Malcolm wrapped both hands around it, warmth seeping into his fingers nowhere near his chest. What do you want from me, Daddy? He whispered. Elijah leaned on the counter, eyes fixed on his son. I want you to stop mistaking fireworks for stars. Fireworks blaze loud and die quick. Stars guide travelers home. Silence stretched, thick as syrup. Rain tapped softer now, as if eavesdropping. Malcolm's shoulders slumped. You've been hunting for a wife for me since Mom passed, but love ain't a job interview. True, Elijah said, but a wise man reviews resumes before hiring heartache. Malcolm chuckled, the sound brittle. I get it, Sierra's trouble, but what if she changes? Change shows up before invitations, not after, Elijah answered. And son, I met a spirit today kinder than spring rain. She defended me when pride spat at my feet. Malcolm's head snapped up. Who? Elijah's smile flickered like candlelight. Her name ain't what matters yet. Her heart will introduce itself. A clock chimed 8. Malcolm realized the house felt smaller, walls inching in with every unanswered ringtone. He flipped the phone again. A new notification glowed. Sierra's fresh post, selfie, captioned only the bold run the block. Comment section already on fire. Malcolm shut his eyes, tea untouched. Elijah reached and covered his son's hand, the gesture light but grounding. Son, Elijah said, voice low and even. The river don't boast about reaching the ocean, it just keeps flowing. Find someone who flows, not someone who splashes. Outside, thunder rumbled one last time and rolled away east, leaving the Dallas night clear. In that quiet, Malcolm felt a forked road open, one path paved in glitter, the other in plain earth. The glitter dazzled. The earth smelled like life. Elijah squeezed his hand, a father's silent prayer sliding between their pulses. Somewhere beyond the window, headlights swept past, and Malcolm wondered if destiny had just driven by, or if it was circling the block, waiting for him to decide. Chapter 3. Showdown at Jubilee Grocery. Saturday heat shimmered over South Dallas like a restless spirit. Cracked pavement popped beneath tires and cicadas rattled in the lone pecan beside Jubilee Grocery. Elijah Brooks unfolded his metal chair beneath the store's awning, plastic coffee can at his feet. He never begged. He simply sat, greeting folks with a nod. The morning sun baked the asphalt till it smelled like burnt sugar and the air felt thick enough to chew. 10 minutes before noon, a black Escalade screeched into the lot, tires coughing dust. The bass line of a trap remix thumped so hard it rattled the grocery windows. Sierra Banks stepped out, Gucci slides tapping a staccato on the concrete. Her red jumpsuit glittered like warning lights in rush-hour traffic. Elijah watched, calm as driftwood. A Bible verse nudged his memory. Pride goeth before destruction. But he kept silent, eyes kind. Sierra slammed the door, scanned the parking lot like she owned the deed, then locked on Elijah. Her lips curled. You again? Thought I baptized you good yesterday. A passing mailman froze mid-step. A mother hurrying her toddler inside whispered, Lord, keep the day peaceful, and hustled. Elijah met Sierra's gaze. Clouds pass, rain dries, no harm done, child. Harm is seeing you camped outside decent businesses, killing the vibe, she snapped, flipping her braids. Why you still here? You ain't tired of embarrassing yourself? Elijah's voice stayed steady. Embarrassment only sticks when truth is absent. Sierra scoffed loud enough to shake birds from the power line. Truth is you're broke, useless, and stink like old mop water. She stepped closer, perfume and hostility swirling. Folks like you drag the city down. Across the lot, Lana Carter exited Jubilee with 2 paper bags balanced on her hips. Sweat dotted her forehead, but her smile held summer. She halted, catching Sierra's rant midstream. The memory of yesterday's splash shot through her like lightning. Sierra poked Elijah's shoulder. Move along, Grandpa. Go haunt someplace else. Lana set her bags on a bench so hard cans clunked. Hey, back off, sis. Her voice cut the heat like a blade chilled on ice. Sierra pivoted, eyes narrow. Who are you, dollar store Wonder Woman? I'm a woman who's still got manners, Lana replied. You talking big for somebody acting small. A teen filming on his phone whispered, Yo, this finna go viral. Elijah rose slowly, cane tucked beneath his arm. No need for sparks, children, he said, but his words felt light against the storm brewing. Sierra flicked her nails as if dusting off insects. Look here, produce princess, you don't know me. I know cruelty when I hear it, Lana shot back. You could buy every shoe in this state and still walk ugly. Gasps rippled. Even the cicadas seemed to hush. Sierra's nostrils flared. She glanced around. An audience now circled. Delivery drivers, grandmas, kids licking ice pops. Instagram live icons glowed from several screens. Fame tasted different when the spotlight wasn't hers to hold. She pointed a lacquered finger at Lana. You messing with the wrong queen. Queens lift people up, Lana answered. You just trample crowns into mud. Elijah's chest warmed at Lana's words, hope sprouting like seed under gentle rain. Sierra's phone buzzed, a new alert from her influencer feed. She ignored it, eyes glued to Lana. Say another word, I'll have you arrested for harassment. For defending an elder? Lana laughed, short and sharp. Call the cops, boo, I'll wait. A squad car slowed at the corner, the officer's gaze curious. Sierra's bravado wobbled. Live stream stakes suddenly felt real. She spun to Elijah. Tell her to apologize and I'll let this slide. Elijah's calm eyes held hers. A fish don't teach an eagle flight. Sierra's composure cracked. Insecurity flashed behind the glamour like lightning behind clouds. She swallowed, glared at Lana, then jerked open her car door. Y'all ain't worth my gas. Tires squealed, dust bloomed, and the Escalade vanished onto Elm Street. Applause erupted. Someone yelled, preach, sister. Another shouted, respect your elders. Phones lowered, murmurs softened, life resumed. Lana grabbed her bags, walked to Elijah. Sir, you all right? She asked, voice now gentle. Elijah smiled, eyes wet but shining. Better than all right, daughter. She reached into a sack, pulled out a bunch of collard greens fresh as morning. Take these. You need real food, not parking lot drama. Elijah accepted, fingers brushing hers. A spark, not romantic yet, but charged with purpose. "Name's Elijah." "Lana," she replied. "Agriculture grad, unemployed, but movement never stops." Traffic hummed by, sun baked on, and a light breeze carried the smell of ripe peaches from the produce stand. Elijah gestured to the cracked lot behind the store, weeds tall as hope. "Ground back there thirsty for hands like yours." Lana followed his gaze, imagination already planting rows. "Then let's water it. Tomorrow morning, 7? Elijah chuckled. "Sunrise works sweeter. Meet me before the rooster even yawns." Lana winked. "Bet." She lifted her bags and headed toward the bus stop, silhouette outlined by golden afternoon. Elijah sat back down, collards on his lap. The coffee can still jingled with coins, but he'd just been paid in courage. He closed his eyes, whispered a prayer of thanks, and felt for the first time in years fate turn a gentle page. Chapter 4. The Gate and the Mask. Tires crunched over river rock the moment the iron gate slid open. Sierra Banks eased her Escalade into the circular drive like a queen arriving at coronation, engine humming low, chrome kissing late afternoon sun. She checked her reflection in the rear view, lip gloss perfect, lashes sharp enough to cut diamonds, then stepped out, heels clicking on flagstone louder than the backyard fountain. Inside the brownstone, Malcolm Brooks heard those clicks and felt his pulse speed up. He straightened the collar of his linen shirt, wiped damp palms on his jeans, and told himself this meeting would go smooth. A voice in his head, his mother's voice, asked why his stomach felt like a fistful of knots if everything was smooth. Sierra rang the bell, 2 quick taps. A house-bought camera zoomed, scanned, and the front door unlocked with a polite chime. She swept into the foyer, perfume trailing a promise of expensive nights. Her eyes flicked over marble floors, crystal light fixtures, the subtle art on the walls. "Nice," she thought, "not as modern as my condo, but cozy." Malcolm stepped forward, smile tight. "Sierra, glad you made it?" "Wouldn't miss it, babe." She leaned in for a cheek kiss, careful not to smudge lipstick, then followed him toward the sitting room. "Hope Pops is ready to be charmed." At that word, charmed, Malcolm's gut twisted again. He forced a chuckle. "He's in the den." They turned the corner. Elijah sat by the bay window, sunlight framing him like an old photograph. Fresh shirt, clean slacks, nothing fancy, but his presence filled the room. He raised his eyes. Sierra stopped mid-step as if invisible hands yanked her back. Recognition flared, then panic. The air snapped tight. Malcolm sensed it. "You two know each other?" Elijah's voice came gentle but heavy. "We've met." Sierra's tongue felt glued. Yesterday's parking lot dust seemed to rise around her again. She forced a laugh that sounded like a creaking hinge. "Small world, huh?" Elijah didn't smile. "Smaller than pride imagines." Malcolm looked from one to the other, confusion morphing to suspicion. "What's going on?" Sierra exhaled hard, tried to find her poise. "Baby, I ran into your dad yesterday. Didn't know he was your family." "Ran into?" Elijah repeated, more like drowned in mud than stabbed with words. Malcolm's face lost color. "Sierra, you splashed him?" She reached out, nails shining. "It was an accident, I swear. I didn't recognize him." "You didn't need to recognize him to respect him," Elijah said, voice steady as oak. Silence beat like a drum. A wind chime tinkled somewhere in the courtyard, mocking the hush. Malcolm's eyes burned. "Tell me it's not true." Sierra's bravado cracked. I was having a rough day. He was sitting there looking poor, Elijah supplied. A face only money should greet? She swallowed. I apologized. Elijah shook his head. You apologized to my status, not my soul. Two different addresses. Malcolm stepped back, the room tilting. He recalled every grand gesture Sierra ever made. Lavish gifts, rooftop parties, public kisses, all shining like coins tossed in a fountain, pretty and shallow. Yesterday you told me kindness was your love language. His voice trembled. Guess it don't translate from Bentley to bus stop. Sierra's eyes glassed over, part anger, part fear. Malcolm, don't let one slip ruin us. One slip? Elijah asked quietly. Pride ain't black ice. Folks see it, choose it, then blame the fall on the road. Sierra spun toward him, desperation sparking. Sir, I'm sorry, really. Sorry's a seed, Elijah replied. Needs soil of change, or it dies in the palm. Tears threatened her mascara. She turned to Malcolm. I love you. Let me make it right. Malcolm's shoulders sagged as if a decade of nights without peace pressed down at once. Love builds, he whispered. All I see is wreckage. The house fell silent save for the grandfather clock ticking like an impatient judge. Sierra's gaze darted to the door, the stairs, anywhere but Elijah's eyes. She grabbed her purse. Fine, I'll leave before y'all put a halo on that man and horns on me. She started for the foyer, voice rising. But remember, Malcolm, nobody molds gold without fire. You think she exists? Some perfect saint? Good luck. Malcolm didn't answer. The door slammed, rattling stained glass panels. Elijah exhaled a prayer. Son? Malcolm raised a trembling hand. Give me a minute. He walked to the wet bar, poured water, missed the glass first try, cursed under his breath. She told me she wanted to meet you so bad, said family mattered. Family is a mirror, Elijah said. Shows true faces. Malcolm stared at his reflection in the window, eyes tired, heart bruised, then set the glass down. Yesterday you said a woman defended you. Talk to me about her. Elijah's lips curved, soft as dawn. She spoke like rain on metal roofs, gentle, steady, impossible to ignore. Name's Lana. Malcolm repeated it. Lana, and felt the knot inside loosen just a hair. He remembered a post-storm sunrise he'd once watched alone atop his office tower, wishing someone saw the colors too. Maybe that someone had just stepped into his story. Elijah touched his son's shoulder. Pain teaches, but wisdom chooses whether the lesson becomes a wound or a window. Malcolm closed his eyes, let the words settle. Outside, a late breeze rattled pecan branches, shedding dry leaves that danced across the drive like coins turned to cedar-scented confetti. Nature's own applause for stripped-back truth. In the hush that followed, father and son stood side by side, a gate closing behind the past, a new path waiting beyond the threshold. Chapter 5. Seeds in the lot. Sunrise rolled over South Dallas like warm peach syrup, gilding busted street signs and casting long violet shadows across the vacant lot behind Jubilee Grocery. Malcolm Brooks pulled his silver pickup to the curb. He ditched the company Tesla for something less flashy and killed the engine. He sat there, heartbeat thudding louder than the cicadas, wondering if fate kept office hours or was already punching in. Out in the lot, Lana Carter knelt on a scrap of cardboard, loosening soil with a hand hoe. She hummed an old Mahalia Jackson tune, the notes drifting through the cool dawn like prayer smoke. Dew glittered on her braids. Malcolm watched, mesmerized. Every move looked deliberate, the rhythm of somebody not afraid of dirt or silence. A stray dog barked. Lana glanced up, saw Malcolm leaning against his truck, and flashed a guarded smile. "Morning, stranger. You lost or recruiting volunteers?" He pushed off the fender, shoved hands into pockets to hide nervous fingers. "Depends. Y'all hiring city boys with soft palms?" She laughed, stood, and dusted her knees. "If you can tell compost from cat litter, you're in. Guess I'll learn quick." He crossed the cracked asphalt, shoes crunching broken glass. Land up close looked worse, beer bottles, rusted soda cans, tufts of crabgrass. But the air held a scent of promise, like rain teasing parched ground. "Name's Malcolm," he said, offering a handshake. "Lana," she answered, grip firm, eyes direct. A spark passed, small, electric. He grabbed a second hoe from his truck bed. "Show me the ropes." She raised a brow. "City boy brought tools?" He shrugged. "Granddad taught me never to borrow what you can carry." For the next hour they worked side by side, turning stubborn Texas clay into rows ready for okra, collards, and purple hull peas. Sweat darkened Malcolm's collar, but he felt lighter than he had in years. Lana shared her vision. Kids from the apartments tasting vegetables straight off the stalk, elders trading recipes under a shade tarp. Malcolm listened, surprised at how her words painted the future in strokes money couldn't buy. Halfway through a row, Lana paused, breathless, and studied him. "You handle that hoe like you skipped a few board meetings." He chuckled. "Maybe I'm skipping one right now." "Risky. Boss might fire you." "Sometimes the boss needs firing," he said, and realized he meant it. A patrol cruiser rolled up, lights off but presence loud. Two officers stepped out, hands resting near holsters. The taller one eyed Malcolm's mud-streaked jeans. "Morning. Lot owners around? We got complaints about trespassing." Lana stiffened. "We're cleaning it up, not trashing it." Officer shrugged. "Internet says folks are beefing out here after that viral video, just checking." Malcolm swallowed. Revealing himself felt like stepping on ice, but leaving Lana exposed felt worse. "I'm the owner," he lied halfway. Technically, the lot belonged to one of his shell companies. "Giving space for a community garden. Paperwork's inside Jubilee's office if you need." The officer recognized the Brooks surname on Malcolm's driver's license and eased. "We're good." "Keep it peaceful." Cruiser pulled off. Lana exhaled. "You own this joint?" He wiped his brow. "Own a lot of things I don't use right. Maybe time to change that." She studied him, gears turning behind her smile. "Rich guy in disguise planting veggies at dawn. Sounds like a Hallmark plot." He winced, embarrassed. "Didn't mean to sneak, just wanted to help before titles got in the way." Lana's expression softened. "Titles don't scare me. Empty hearts do." She nudged his shoulder with the hoe. "But you handled those cops cool. Respect." A flush warmed his neck. Clouds drifted overhead, softening the sun. Birds hopped along the fence, hunting ants. For a heartbeat, the city's grind faded, replaced by rustling leaves and two strangers breathing the same hopeful air. Malcolm's phone buzzed. Sierra's name again. He silenced it without looking. Lana noticed but said nothing. Instead, she knelt, pressed a seed into fresh earth, and covered it. "Lesson 1, she said. "Seeds don't care who drops them, long as they're buried right." Malcolm crouched beside her, mimicked the motion. Soil felt cool, honest. "Guess I've been tossing seeds on concrete my whole life." "Concrete's stubborn," she replied. "But break it, you get room for roots." He met her gaze, heartbeat steady now. "Breakfast?" There's a diner 2 blocks over. Biscuits so good they make grown folks cry. Lana grinned. You buying, city boy? I'm planting, he said. Harvest starts with feeding the farmer. They walked toward the street, hose resting on shoulders like seasoned field hands. Behind them, the lot looked different, still ragged yet lined with neat furrows catching first light. A patch of promise carved out of neglect. As they reached the sidewalk, Malcolm glanced back. He pictured his father's steady smile and heard the old saying echo. The man who sows kindness never digs alone. For the first time, he believed it might be true. Chapter 6. Harvest of the Heart. The smell of collards sizzling and garlic drifted through Elijah's kitchen just as the doorbell sang its 2-note melody. He wiped his hands on a towel, heart kicking like a snare. Outside the stained glass pane stood Lana Carter, hair twisted up, a bouquet of okra pods peeking from her tote. She glanced at the mansion's white columns, then at the address in her hand, as if GPS had lost its mind. Elijah opened the door before hesitation could settle. Welcome, daughter. Lana stepped in, eyes wide. Mahogany floors gleamed, sun spilled across art she'd only seen in magazines. Mr. Elijah, I thought you lived, he chuckled. Poor in pockets, a costume I wear to test hearts. Before she could answer, footsteps thundered down the staircase. Malcolm appeared, dress shirt untucked, breathing like he'd sprinted from a dream. The moment Lana saw him, shock morphed to hurt. You own this place too? Malcolm lifted his palms. I meant to tell you. You gardened beside me while folks called me girl with dirt dream, she said, voice shaking. All while hiding a whole empire? That's rich, literally. Elijah's gentle baritone cut in. Truth blooms slow, child, but its fruit lasts. Malcolm took a step closer. I hid my name so my money wouldn't speak first. I needed you to meet the man, not the brand. He swallowed. I'm sorry it feels shady. Lana's glare softened but didn't melt. Secrets grow weeds, Malcolm. Thunder grumbled outside. Summer clouds muscled over the sun. Elijah guided them toward the dining room where platters of garden vegetables brightened the table like stained glass windows laid flat. Sit, he urged. Storms pass quicker over honest fields. They sat, distance between plates mirroring distance between hearts. Rain speckled the windows. Elijah poured sweet tea, the amber liquid catching lightning flashes. Lana, he began, you rescued an old man twice, once from mud, once from pride's arrow. That kindness sowed today. He turned to his son. Malcolm, fortune can buy seeds, but only humility tills soil. What you planting? Malcolm met Lana's eyes. Something real if you'll give me room. Silence hung thick as syrup, then Lana sighed. Real demands sunlight. She reached into her tote, pulled out a small clay pot where a single okra sprout pushed through black earth. This is for you both. Water it together, see if it thrives. Elijah's smile lit the room brighter than the chandelier. A living contract, better than ink. A phone buzzed. Sierra's name flashed on Malcolm's screen, followed by a headline. Influencer dragged for humiliating elder, sponsors cut ties. Malcolm flipped the phone, face down. Seeds and screens tell different stories, he muttered. Lana noticed but said nothing. Instead, she pointed toward the kitchen door. Come show me your backyard. I need to check if y'all got space for raised beds. Malcolm stood so fast his chair squeaked. Right this way. He led her through French doors onto a patio where the storm had already passed, leaving air washed clean. Pecan leaves dripped silver drops. The sky cracked open to peach light. Lana inhaled. Whole cities thirsty for ground like this. Then it's theirs, Malcolm said. Name the plan, I'll fund it, but you captain it. She watched him under the soft glow of porch lamps. Doubt still flickered, but something steadier burned behind it. Keep the boardrooms, she said. Just promise the soil stays free. Cross my muddy heart, she laughed, first time since entering the mansion, and rain-fresh air seemed to applaud. Inside, Elijah set 3 plates on the table, whispering a thank you to the one who choreographed storms and clearings. He felt his late wife's spirit in the room, clapping slow, proud. Days peeled into weeks. Raised beds stretched across the brownstone lawn, then spilled into adjacent vacant lots Malcolm purchased under Lana's new nonprofit Roots and Wings. Kids painted signs, elders swapped stories for seeds, and every Saturday Malcolm parked the pickup, never the Tesla. Sierra's glossed-over world faded from local feeds. Last anyone heard, she'd taken a digital detox. On the first harvest festival, neighbors crowded between sunflower stalks, taller than fear. A brass band blared, grills smoked, and Elijah, fresh denim overalls, straw hat, addressed the crowd from a makeshift stage. "Listen close," he boomed, voice weaving through trombone riffs. "Mud may splash your body, but only you decide if it stains your spirit. Plant mercy, reap peace. Plant pride, reap storms." Malcolm and Lana stood hand in hand beside the okra pot, now a leafy tower heavy with pods. He squeezed her fingers, pulse steady. She squeezed back, lips curving. The sun ducked low, painting gold across every face. And in that shared light, the neighborhood felt like one wide field. Hearts tilled, ready for whatever good seed tomorrow carried.